Guys, Caleb here, and today I'm going to be comparing the LEGO Architecture San Francisco skyline to the LEGO Architecture Dubai skyline. We're going to be taking a small look at each of these sets, combining these sets, and generally seeing which one is better. Using a handy dandy list I made, so we'll be looking at the displayability, durability, value, and details, and of course the total of both of these sets. I will be ranking them each out of 10, adding them up, and we will see which one is better at the end of it. Disclaimer, I have had the San Francisco for almost 2 years now. It's definitely one of my older sets that I have. The Dubai is actually one of the newer 2020 architecture sets, and I've only had that set for roughly 2 months. So I've definitely had the San Francisco a lot longer than the architecture Dubai skyline. However, in this, hopefully I can clear up if both of these sets are worth it for you or not. And it's going to be interesting to take a look at both of these sets together and really dive into which set is better. Starting off with the beautiful San Francisco. Pardon if there's a little bit of dust on here. And I also did accidentally knock off the lighthouse. There was a small lighthouse here in the original model of that. Nobody's perfect, so sorry about that little thing. I gotta say, this definitely looks surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, just definitely looks really, really good. I do like the water here. We will compare the water to the Dubai one, but it pretty much has blue underneath it there. See, it's blue studs underneath it there, and then you just put this over to give the water and make it look a little bit darker than the Dubai water. I generally like the Dubai water better. We will look at that later on, but it does look really cool with the water, except for the little black parts peeking through the bottom there, where it connects this black border in with the San Francisco print. Of course, all LEGO Architecture skylines have this, including the Dubai, so those are both about equal. I do love all the little details of this thing. For example, it has a small Alcatraz island underneath of the San Francisco Bridge, or the Golden Gate Bridge, which does look very nice. I do like how this tower is slightly taller than this tower, giving it a more 3D feel, which is really cool, connected by these wires here, of course. My favorite detail has to be the actual street behind the painted ladies, which has quite a bit of dust on there. But you can actually see two cars running along the street there. A lot of dust back there, unfortunately. But there's actually two tiny cars running along the street there, which is one of the coolest details in any LEGO set ever. You can see it's got a lot of street room here. The streets go around, pardon my dust there. The durability, this set is definitely stronger. You can hold it from this, shake it around. You can hold it from most of these buildings and shake it around. And it's surprisingly strong. You can't quite hold it from this one without pulling it up off of the base there. But it is surprisingly strong. You can hold it from most places, wiggle around, and you're not going to have to worry about this thing falling over. Like, this is a surprisingly sturdy model, which is always really good in a LEGO set. So at $40, this is $20 cheaper than the Dubai skyline, which, I mean, if you look at it like that, you know, it's $20 cheaper, roughly the same size. We'll compare that in a little bit. It just generally is really, really good. I've given the San Fran, the display, an 8 out of 10, durability 9 out of 10, value 8 out of 10, details 8 out of 10, giving the total 33 out of 40. It's going to be very hard for the Dubai skyline to pass this. This is a very good score on my handy scientific sheet. Taking a look at the Dubai skyline, I personally like the whole look of this and the whole color scheme a good bit better than the San Francisco. I sort of think that's just kind of a personal preference, but I personally love how all the colors go with the tan and the light blue and the white and the dark blue and the gold all go together very well versus the San Francisco, where it's a little bit more jumbled and messy. This is a little bit more clean and polished look to it, and I absolutely love the color scheme on this thing. The colors all match together perfectly, leaving this very, very clean, finished model that looks very, very nice. I really enjoy the color scheme of this, definitely more than the San Francisco, and I would honestly say I sort of like the look of this thing a little bit more than the San Francisco, and that's just sort of personal preference, I would say. I mean, it's up to you if you like the look of this or the look of that better. As for the value, of course, it is worth noting that this set is $20 more expensive, but for $20 you are not getting a bridge, but you are getting 4 large buildings and, of course, the Dubai frame, one of which being the Burj Khalifa, an absolutely massive building, second tallest LEGO set that I actually have. Like, it's a lot bigger than you might actually expect. Like, This actual Burj Khalifa is absolutely ginormous and honestly looks so incredible on display. One of my favorite sets to display on the back of my shelf. Worth comparing that this water is in fact on white studs instead of blue studs. See, it is a white bottom which you put these clear panels on, and generally I personally love the look of this and do generally think it's better than the San Francisco look. Like, I really do like the color of this water. Obviously it's the same with the fountain here. You can see San Francisco's water is just a bit darker and dirtier. This is a lot more cleaner, and generally, I don't know, I really just like the color of this better than the color of that. And some Skyline sets do use clear water, which also looks incredible and very clean. But I really do enjoy the look of this blue water more than the San Francisco in general. The little details were a little bit better on the San Francisco, but this does have lots of good little details, like what I can only assume to be a train, although it's not included in the instruction manuals. There are 3 small palm trees, which is quite the cool detail, actually a 4th behind there. The Dubai frame could have used a little bit more detail, but I guess in real life it is only a frame. It does have very good details, especially the helicopter landing pad on there, which is an incredible little detail to have on a set. I love that little detail. And obviously the Burj Khalifa, using almost 200 blue studs to give this thing a ton of detail, is very detailed. However, I think I gotta give the little details to the San Francisco. It has better little details in it. However, altogether, this set is incredibly detailed. I have to give the durability to points to the San Francisco. This thing is not incredibly durable. You can hold it from here, but the Burj Khalifa tends to wobble a lot more than the buildings in the San Francisco, which is incredibly unfortunate because this is a really good set. And yes, I did build it, right? It's just incredibly wobbly. You can't really pick it up with the Burj Khalifa without the entire bottom sort of giving out, and feels incredibly wobbly. Really, wherever you hold it, it feels like the whole thing is wiggling. It's almost a two-hand job. I usually carry it from here, but still the entire time the Burj Khalifa is wiggling even when you're just holding it like this. So it is disappointingly weak in that design. Like, it's just not very good for picking up. Given the display a 9 out of 10, I really enjoy the display of this more than the San Francisco personally. Durability 6 out of 10, very bad durability. Value 8 out of 10, about the same value as this. It is a good bit bigger and has more pieces than the San Francisco, and generally it has a bigger price point. I think that's about fair. Details 7 out of 10, I just think the San Francisco had better small details, leaving the total at 30 out of 40, and leaving the San Francisco to beat Dubai. That's right, I've pretty much compared the statistics, and the San Francisco came out surprisingly on top, which I was sort of surprised by, but this thing has a very good design, very compact, and looks really good. Although I like the color scheme better for this, this is not a bad set either at all, and it just looks really good on display, very durable, and a great deal at $40, a bit of a cheaper Skyline for people who are building on a budget. It's a good deal, generally. Yeah, but if you decide between these two sets, the statistics point towards San Francisco for you guys. Kind of 2 main ways you could display it. You could display it one like this, where they're sort of stacked together, which looks a little bit more messy and not quite as good. Like, it just looks a little bit more jumbled together and just a little bit more messy. However, if you got 4 or 5 of these, I bet it'd look pretty cool. You can display it like this, which I generally like better because this way the black borders line up straight from the Dubai to the San Francisco, runs along the entire thing, which looks really cool. And if you got 6 or 7 of these, you connect them up. The only thing I wish Skylines had is they were built like modulars, where they could connect to the sides, and that would just be super cool, because you could sort of connect them. There's no way they're connected here. They're just sort of loosely in place. They're not clipped in by anything at all. But it looks very good when they're all together, and if you got 5 or 6 of these and had this stretching like along a window or something, it would look super cool. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to compare any other sets, because I have other ideas for comparisons of set like these, and it was pretty fun to do, sort of styled off of M&R's comparison videos, but 2 completely different sets. However, they are slightly the same, and it was definitely interesting to compare these 2 sets. So let me know what do you think in the comments below. Also, thank you for 90 subscribers. That's insane, and I'm really hoping we can get to 100 by the end of the summer here. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest content and help me at 100 subscribers. Seabird Productions, sign off for now, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.